Hello, Herman Londonites. Here's your monthly update, or this month's update. How about that? So thanks for taking a quick watch. I'll try to keep this under 10 minutes, so you can watch it while you drive. Number one, our core values, always the most important thing. Knowledge is power, legacy of honesty. Together we grow, and I make it happen. Just making sure you take a time to think about how you're living the company's core values. Look out for some messaging from Molly O. She's been working hard on recording a bunch of different things on how to do things in Go High Level. Go High Level is overwhelming, in my opinion. I have a hard time knowing where to go in there and what to do exactly. And so I'm very thankful that she's making videos giving specific instructions on how to do, the kinds of things you'd want to do. It's so powerful, but there's probably only a few things really that you're wanting to focus on. So she's making how-to videos for you to know how to do those specific things. Did you notice that the seller's disclosure has changed? There's a new format for it. They've added some things. I think it's better. No really complaints about it, but just wanted to make sure that you noticed that. All right, we're still seeing a lot of multiple offers. I'm getting calls from our agents a lot that are finding themselves in these multiple offer situations. And the number one thing that's working is that this whole idea of heavily engaging the listing agent, calling them and talking to them, calling them, not texting them, calling them and talking to them until they finally tell you whether your offer is winning or not. Our goal here is to give your buyer, your client, the choice to win or lose. We want it to be your client's choice to win or lose, okay? And you have to do that by getting information from the listing agent about if you're winning or not. And if you're not, then your buyer can choose to improve their offer. So I want to say to you, if you are not currently winning offers with your clients, I think boldly you're doing this wrong. You're not quite doing it right. You're missing a step somewhere. You're saying the wrong thing at some point, but something is going wrong. And so we can talk about it one-on-one. We can have a whole meeting about it, a mastermind if you want to, but there's still a lot of multiple offer situations in every price range. And if you're not winning, I think or at least if you're not creating the situation where your buyer has the choice to win or lose, I think you might be missing a step. Boldly, I just had to say it. All right, speaking of that, if you want to make more money, I think that I wanted to give a reminder to people is that everyone wants to make more money, it seems like, and you have the several different methods of doing that. We're not really a cold call company, even though we have cold call capabilities. Most of us are not cold call people. A lot of us don't like doing that. So we kind of lean more towards the referrals, the sphere of influence, the social media, all that kind of stuff. And so if you're not cold calling, which is the most direct way to get more business, then you're doing the sphere of influence types of things. And I want to remind you that that's maybe the easier method or the more enjoyable method in terms of just being comfortable and that, but it's not easier in terms of time. You should still be spending a lot of your time. Make sure you're going to the party, you're showing up at events, you're going to happy hours, you're doing these things constantly, calling people, maybe keep track, try to make 100 calls a week, things like that. But you can't not be making cold calls and also not going to the party. You really need to choose one and go passionately at it, or maybe both, but you need to do this one if you're going to do it. Speaking of money, how are you managing yours? Just a little tip I like to remind people. I encourage you to have a separate bank account and separate credit card for you, the agent, you, the human, or you, the partner or spouse or whatever, and maybe you if you have a different third business too. But I think you, as you're sitting there, should have at least 2 credit cards. One that you put all of your agent expenses on, your phone, your car, your gas, your client lunches, your things like that, should all go on this one credit card and should be paid by your agent bank account, which is where your commissions and everything come in. And then you should take part of that income from your agent bank account and you should be putting that into your personal account. And that's where you pay for your personal expenses, your personal credit card, your mortgage, your utilities at your own house, when you go to Costco, stuff like that. So just a quick reminder, life will be much easier if you think of yourself that way. And if you have separate bank accounts and separate credit cards, I think is a really important one too. Okay, we have a story here. We have an agent who is planning to list a property. She's talking to the clients. Her friend's mom is the client and everything's going good, but she hasn't gotten them to sign the listing paperwork yet. And she gets a call from the seller and they somehow talk to the neighbor who's a potential buyer, that buyer came over, saw the house, they want to buy it. So I hear this and I think of two things. This could be bad, which is really my first instinct, or this could be good, which is kind of where we concluded, hoping that it goes. But my first instinct is that the seller is now going to talk to you, get information out of you, and then not sign this listing agreement agreeing to pay you. They're going to think, I already have a buyer. What do I need you for? Of course, we don't want that. And so I think that what a great situation will be, and what we're hoping happens in this situation, is that the seller will now sign the listing agreement. You can fill it out however you want. If you're getting extra money for now helping the buyer or not, that's up to you. But you can fill it out in that unrepresented buyer section. And then the best case scenario is now our agent will get both sides, quote unquote, of the commission, and will help the buyer, and everyone will be happy, and it'll be a nice, fairly easy transaction. It's great for the seller because the buyer doesn't have someone in their ear telling them, when to negotiate and things like that. It's great for the buyer because I think they're actually getting a good price for the property. So what would you do? How would you handle that? What do you think about my fear of making sure you're covered and getting that listing agreement signed? Okay, this is another situation. I've got a buyer. I've been showing him properties forever. Some of you even helped show the buyer properties for me in the past. We finally get them under contract and we get it inspected. We know there's knob and tube, but they bring an electrician over and they found out it's gonna be $50,000 to remove the knob and tube from the house. And so the buyers, once they want to back out for other things, they think there's like $200,000 worth of work at this place, overblown in my opinion. But one of them is they're saying, it's $50,000 to replace the knob and tube, and we have to do that because of insurance. Well, so I wanted to discuss with you, how should I have handled that? Should I have mentioned to her, like, A, you don't need to replace the knob and tube. Most people don't. They might replace it where they can see it, but they're not replacing it in the walls in general. And then B, you can also definitely still get insurance even if there's knob and tube. Hello, the seller currently has insurance, so obviously we can still get insurance. So I didn't really want to use that as like a negotiating point with the listing agent, because if I was the listing agent, I'd be like, call BS on both of those things. Or should I just have agreed with what she was saying and like just help them back out of the deal? Or should I do a combination of both, which is kind of what I did. I didn't want them to feel like I'm trying to talk them into staying in the deal. I certainly don't want to sit here and vouch for knob and tube and say, you'll be fine, it's all good, because I'm not going to say that kind of thing ever. But I did want to let them know, by the way, most people wouldn't do this, and by the way, we can get insurance, but if you want to back out, absolutely. But I just wanted to make her feel, I think what I didn't do as well as I would have liked is for her to understand that that's not as much of a point of leverage as she seemed to think it was, because not everyone will replace the knob and tube. And yes, we could get insurance. So I think that's kind of the point that I wanted to make. New topic. It's been a few months now with all the new paperwork rules, and the rule specifically, you have to have a buyer's agreement signed with a buyer before you show a property. I'm wanting to hear from you. How's that going? Are you doing it? How's the conversation going with the clients? What objections are you getting? What are they saying back to you? How are you filling out that form? And I'm just wanting to know, did you listen to the podcast I created about this specific topic? But overall, I just think we should have a conversation about the buyer's agency agreement. How are you getting people to sign it? What are you putting on there? What objections are you getting? What can we change in our process, our communication, maybe our pre-communication that will help make it easier for you to get it to sign? I think it was Alabama, one of these states just made it so they don't have to sign this before showings, because even though they agree it's better for a client to have this and understand the relationship and all that kind of stuff, it seems like it's a little fast to have to say, hey, here's this, 3-page or whatever it is document, sign this before I open this door. It's a little fast for them to have to read it, get to know, they don't get a chance to get to know you and all that kind of stuff. So, I personally not loving the rule in general. I understand the purpose of it, but I just don't love it in general. Okay, Wednesday, we've got the 1031 class here at the office. We're hoping you'll come, learn some stuff. If you don't know what 1031 is, don't show up at 1031. That would be a weird time for a meeting. 1031 is a strategic tax avoidance structure, or a tax delayance structure, I guess is probably what you would really say. It's a way that people can sell property and basically delay the capital gains tax by putting it into another property and not having to pay the capital gains tax until they sell that property. unless they 1031 it again, on and on and go and again. But it's a good investment strategy. It's something that I think it's important for you to know about and understand how it works. So we're doing the class. I don't know the guy who's teaching it, but I hope he does a good job. He seems like he loves talking about 1031s because he asked us to teach the class. 2 more topics. If you would like, I would love to have a one-on-one with you, in person, over the phone, Zoom, whatever you want to do. I think it'd be nice for us to talk about anything you want to cover in business, any strategies you want to do, what's working, what's not working, what questions do you have, things you might need from me or for the company. Concerns you might have. I guess I just want to say we can just talk about anything you want. So, I have a link in my email signature and stuff, so you can book a time with me, or you can just call and ask for a time. That's fine too. Last hot tip. I want you to consider creating a Google local for your business, you the realtor, using your own home address. So you go to Google Maps, you say add a business, and you would call it, Adam Cruz Realty or Chesterfield Realty or something like that. You make a Google local profile, add your home address, add your cell phone, add all the details about your business, and then I think that's going to make you start showing up in the Google local results. When people search for, realtor in Chesterfield, it's going to show up the Chesterfield Realtor they have there. So just a hot tip for you. Hope you give it a try. Look forward to seeing you soon, maybe on Wednesday. Take care. Bye-bye.